I don't even know what to say. Hey guys, I just wanted to sort of do a quick video on the PS Portal, and why I was a hater at first, and why I am no longer a hater, and why I actually bought one. So, initially, when I first saw this thing and saw it was $200, I was like, wow, this is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. You can just use your phone or your iPad and a PlayStation controller. And yeah, I've had that thought for about a good 10 months, and now I have one. So what changed my mind? Well, a few things changed my mind. So I guess we may as well just start it up and go with it. You can hear my PS5 turning on because we're in the same room. And sort of go through why I think that this is actually a pretty good product, even at $200. So the thing is with the previous solutions, with the phone and the PS Remote Play app, which people may find legit, especially on maybe you could use an iPad that put it on a table and whatnot. There's kind of two things I've noticed with those options. So yeah. So let's just sort of go through. I'm playing Gran Turismo 7 here, as you can see. Why I think I'll turn down the volume. That may not be the best option. So at least for me, in my opinion, and I have a pretty I do not like the phone attached to controller method of playing games, remote play games, because there's two problems. So one is you have to have a backbone, which I'm not the most fond of. I feel like they're always a little bit cramped, kinda, and that the phone. I just feel like they're kind of cramped, and oops, shit. Well, there's an issue with GameStone right there, but they're just kind of cramped. They're not very big. They're not very sturdy because they're not really connected to the phone. And the thing is, if you go buy a backbone, they're not that cheap. I think the PlayStation official backbone right now is about $100. Now it's cheaper than a PS Portal, but it's still quite a chunk of change. And if you're like me, if you're just a little bit savvy, you can. Oh my god, I cannot talk and play at the same time. If you're just a little bit savvy, you can find a PS Portal for what I paid, $120, and for $120, you get an actual PS5 controller. And you're like, well, you can just use a PS5 controller on your phone, and yeah, you can. Apple even sells PS5 controllers at the store, but there's kind of at least for me personally, I do not like the controller phone mount. Because in my opinion, it just feels terrible. The balance, it's like all the weight is like on the top. It's not balanced very well at all. So it sort of just like wants to lean forward. And I just don't like that. And you sort of, and like, because the phone screen's not that big, you have to kind of have it close up to your face. And I have a big phone. I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's a pretty big phone. I usually like smaller tech, but when it comes to phones, I tend to go with bigger ones. I wouldn't want a phone much bigger than that, though. And truthfully, it just gets down to, I just don't think it's the most optimal experience for playing games for long periods of time. And, if you have a backbone, that's one thing. But when you have a you're using your controller to play games, especially the PlayStation controllers, they're such a pain to pair and unpair from your console to another different device. Like I'm doing it with the PSVR for PC and whatnot. Every time I use it on PC, I have to remove the Bluetooth device and repair it again with Windows, and it's just such a pain. And I don't want to do that every time. To play a suboptimal experience, and on top of that, your phone screen just being small, you're now using your phone battery to play the games, and you're using up your one essential resource. And on top of that, you can't use your phone as a phone while you're playing games and having to pause it every single time. You know, you can't multitask, you can't take a phone call, you can't answer a text. Because like right now, if I want to answer a text, I'm using my phone to record now. I just go like this, boop, 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 boop. Okay, back in the game. Whereas that, I have to answer a text that would disconnect it from the console, then I have to reconnect it, which takes a minute. And it's like you do that over and over again, it just starts getting annoying. And you know, it's just if you're doing it if you don't do it often, like you're only doing it like every so often, yeah, it's kind of hard to justify spending $200 or even $120 if you don't want to use. But if you're doing it like relatively often, I just find that just, you know, buying something, if you can afford it, that you know, gives you, you know, a dedicated piece of hardware to stream your PlayStation games, which has a bigger screen than your phone, I almost guarantee it, has a proper PS5 controller, if you're not using that, but a proper PS5 controller with the vibrations and whatnot. I don't know if the vibrations will work in regular remote play or not. I haven't done it enough, but I think they don't. With the proper vibrations, the screen on this thing is beautiful. You know, it's got pretty good battery life, and you're not wasting your phone's battery life. You have proper controls with a separate battery and everything. So at that point, that's where I'm sort of coming in. Well, you know what? This starts to make more sense. And that's what I'm talking about. Because honestly, playing on this thing is amazing. I mean, yeah, I could use my phone, but as I said, it's not the most optimal thing. And, you know, for this, especially when I paid $120, so that may be why my perspective's a little bit different. For $120, or even $200, it's got the screen on this thing is beautiful. It really is. It's truly a beautiful screen. It feels great in the hands. It's not heavy. It doesn't get hot. The battery life isn't terrible at all. It's overall a pretty good experience. When you have good Wi-Fi, that's the thing, it feels like a portable PS5, and that's just awesome. So, yeah, I feel like, you know, initially we all thought that, but, you know, after using one for some amount of time, I can tell you right now, I would have no desire to use my phone ever again. I don't like playing games on my phone really at all. I like having a proper handheld, and I think there is a pretty good market for this. It's a pretty good device. I'll get to some criticisms. The biggest one is Bluetooth headphone support. It's not on here. That pisses me off. You have to use Sony's proprietary PlayStation headphones, and there's basically only two pairs of headphones that support it: the Pulse earbuds and the Pulse 3D headset. Those are the only two devices that work with this thing wirelessly. There's a headphone jack, and you can use a Bluetooth adapter, but that's just bullshit. That is stupid. I guess I wish it had Wi-Fi 6, although I don't really know if that would do anything. I don't really know if it would make a difference or not. So, yeah, but I wish it kind of did. But as I said, battery life is pretty good. The controllers feel good. It just feels like a regular PS5 controller. Not really much else to say on, you know, the downsides of it. I guess this, other than the price, if this was $150 or $100, which I don't think they can make it for $100, but let's just say $150, I think it would not be nearly as controversial, because the backbone already is $100. Now you can find a used backbone, of course, but that's the official sort of way to play PS5 games on your phone. I'm being honest, compared to using the Remote Play app on my phone and my iPad and my PC, which on my Mac, I cannot get it to work with anything but a PlayStation controller, which is annoying to me because, as I said, it's a pain in the ass to pair PlayStation controllers. I had a spare Xbox controller, won't work. So you either have to buy another PlayStation controller, which is $75, or, you know, keep pairing it, unpairing it, which I know sounds annoying, or, you know, sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but do it over and over and over again, it starts getting annoying. You know, and you're wasting your phone battery and whatnot, as I said. So, and on top of that, you're playing with a smaller screen. You're playing in a configuration that's not as comfortable. This is a much more comfortable configuration. So, yeah, even at $200, I think this is a pretty good product. But again, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and find these for $150, and if you look hard enough, $120 working in just fine condition. So, I mean, if you can find a used one, in good shape for $120, I mean, hey, I would say it's definitely worth it, in my opinion. It's a much better experience you're going to get on your phone. And, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Of course, you can disagree with me. Oh, Well, and actually, no, never mind. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think I am full of shit, or do you think that, or do you have a PS Portal? Do you want a PS Portal? You know, just let me know in the comments what you guys think about all of this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.